The room looked exactly the same. Same furniture, same pictures on the wall, same view through the window. Nothing had moved, nothing had changed. At least not on the surface. Yet standing there again felt completely different, because I was different. Sometimes we return, expecting to find the past, but the past isn't waiting for us. Not the way we think. The places stay, the memories stay, the stories stay. But we carry new eyes into old rooms, and that's enough to change everything. Taking in details, I stopped noticing years ago the small things, the familiar things, the things that felt permanent when I lived among them every day. Back then I was always looking ahead. Now I couldn't stop looking around. Perspective changes places without moving a single wall. But the past isn't waiting for us. Not the way we think. The places stay, the memories stay, the stories stay. But we carry new eyes into old rooms, and that's enough to change everything. I wasn't searching for who I used to be. I think that's why I found peace. Maybe returning isn't about reclaiming something. Maybe it's about recognizing something. Seeing how far you've traveled, seeing what you've carried forward, seeing that growth doesn't erase all chapters. It simply changes how you read them. The room looked exactly the same. I didn't. That turned out to matter more. The box arrived without warning. No special occasion, no note explaining it. Just my name written across the front, in handwriting I recognized immediately. I carried it inside, set it on the table, and stared at it for a while, certain it contained more than whatever was inside. Some packages travel farther than miles. I wasn't prepared for what place. There were photographs, a few letters, small pieces of a life someone else had carefully saved. Things I'd forgotten existed, things I thought were gone. Evidence of moments that felt ordinary at the time, yet somehow survived long enough to find me again. The past rarely returns the way we imagine it will. I wasn't prepared for what came back. Not the objects, the memories, the versions of people attached to every little thing. I wasn't prepared for what came back. How quickly a room can fill with years you thought had already found their place. I opened one letter, then another, then stopped reading, just sat there listening. Because paper matters, not because photographs matter, because every once in a while we need proof that those days existed, proof that those people existed, proof that we existed too. Stayed open on the table. The afternoon disappeared around it, and for a little while the years didn't feel so far away. The lights were already off by the time I found the message. Nothing urgent, nothing dramatic, just someone checking in. A few simple words, the kind people send every day, without knowing how much they might matter to the person receiving them. I stared at it longer than necessary, then read it again. Some kindness arrives quietly and still changes everything. You had no idea what kind of day it was, no idea what I was carrying, no idea how close I was to believing I had to carry it alone. You had no idea what kind of day it was. You were just being yourself, but sometimes that's enough to make the world feel different. few words, a reminder that somebody thought about you. Without needing a reason, the sort of thing that's easy to overlook until you need it. The smallest things often arrive without knowing how far they'll travel. You had no idea what kind of day it was, no idea what I was carrying, no idea how close I was to believing I had to carry it alone. You had no idea what kind of day it was. You were just being yourself, but sometimes that's enough to make the world feel different. The message took seconds to write, the impact lasted much longer. Maybe that's the part we miss, how often we matter to people without ever finding out how many difficult days have been softened by ordinary acts of care. Maybe that's the part we miss, the quiet influence we have on lives we'll never fully understand. I finally wrote back, not because I knew what to say, because some kindness deserves an answer. The argument ended without a winner. No slammed doors, no final words, just silence. The kind that settles into a room and makes itself comfortable. Days passed, then more days, neither of us reaching out, both of us waiting for what I wasn't sure. Pride has a way of sounding reasonable at first. I kept telling myself I was right, as if being right could keep someone close. I kept telling myself I was right, while the distance grew, while the silence grew, while something more important was slowly slipping away. The strangest thing is, I can barely remember the reason. The details have blurred. The position I defended so fiercely is faded with time. What remained was the space I created, the conversations that never happened, the moments that never returned. Some cost don't appear immediately. I kept telling myself I was right, as if being right could keep someone close. I kept telling myself I was right, while the distance grew, while the silence grew, while something slipping away. Maybe relationships survive on things bigger than agreement. Maybe they survive on grace, on patience, on the willingness to value connection more than victory. Maybe that's the lesson I needed longer to learn. I don't remember the argument anymore. I remember the silence, and that tells me everything.